let's jump into our review of Superman.
Have you seen this?
Have you seen it?
Have you seen this?
I know, I've seen this. I know this.
This is going to be action packed. There's a lot to cover, just like there's a lot in this movie that James Gunn tries to cover. But to get us started, Adrian, can you fire up that letterbox description and
Yes,
let us know what it
sir.
says for context?
So we got Superman 2025, directed by James Gunn. Look up. Superman, a journalist in Metropolis, embarks on a journey to reconcile his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as Clark Kent.
I think we've touched on this, but I think Letterboxd really needs to get recognition of how it does its descriptions, because it's true, but it doesn't cover any of like what really happens in the movie. You know what I mean? Before we really get started here, what's our background with comics, comic movies, DC, Marvel? Anthony, I know you said you're a big Marvel head, so maybe tell us, what's your relationship with comic book movies?
Dude, my like hyper fixation is like DC Comics and Marvel. Like, it's like I love it with a passion. Like, I love superheroes so much. Like, ever since I was a little kid, like I always just like was like in my room trying to like move stuff with my mind, and like I was convinced that there's superheroes somewhere. Like, I love superheroes so much. Like, anytime I'm on my free time, I'm looking at like comic book reviews on YouTube, or like even on Snapchat, Instagram. All of my reels, my entire algorithm is just comic books and different ones and whatever. Like, that's my whole thing. Like, I love it to death, and I hated this movie. It was terrible. I think Henry Cavill is Superman, same way Christian Bale is Batman. That's it.
Wow, you're
Dude,
really
shots
showing your
already,
cards
huh?
here. Yeah,
Jeez.
really
Ready.
showing his cards here. All I asked is, what do you think about comic book movies? And he came out firing. Firing. Adrian, what's your relationship?
I remember Superman when I was a kid throwing on the towel with a little safety
Sure.
pin. Like, we were actual kids where we weren't worried about poking our finger. Like, no, you handled the safety pin yourself, and you threw on a cape, and you were jumping
Sure.
off the couch face first into some
Right.
couch, some pillows. So that was my relationship with Superman. Comic books, I fell off. I wasn't really into the comic books. TV was king for me. So like X-Men, to be honest, like back in 1997 was the jam. Batman series, like 1994. Superman at that time was like the cartoon series was really good. But aside of that, the comic books really weren't my jam. So I never really got into, hey, this doesn't fit with this timeline, and this comic book counters that. Like, I never got into all that.
Right. Fair enough. Larry, as I set the bar for you as our comic book expert here, what's your relationship with these type of movies?
Set the bar too high already, first off. I'm not a comic book person, all right? I'm like Anthony. I love the superhero genre, and the cartoons, Batman, the animated series was the pinnacle of Batman.
Yeah.
Which is DC, right? So
Yeah,
exactly.
You were more leaning DC than Marvel.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
Batman's your favorite, right? Of all the comic book characters, you ride with Batman.
I don't know if you can tell, but yes.
Yeah.
Batman's
Just
my
a little
jam.
bit.
Yeah, he's my go-to.
So then, so what's the relationship to Superman? Was he like the rival? Was it
the Superman animated series was my first main introduction. Yeah, we had all seen like the 1978 Superman and all those as kids, but I mean, really didn't do much for me. It wasn't until the cartoon that I really was like, okay, Superman's not terrible. He's all right. So it was
like the Saturday morning
cartoon.
Like the Saturday morning cartoon kind of Superman show that
it was on.
Up, right?
It was on in the morning, and then we catch the reruns during the week.
Sure.
Anthony probably has no idea what that's like.
Nah.
Yeah, no.
Nah.
Bro, we had to wake up at a specific time to watch a specific show on a specific day.
And if you missed it, you were mad. Oh, man.
Everybody was talking about it at school on Monday, and you were the only one not. Yeah.
It was Batman the animated series. You had the X-Men cartoon, which was
fire,
top notch. Yeah. So
I mean, the three of us are essentially the same generation, and I think it goes to say like those animated comic shows were really our introduction. Like same X-Men, Batman, Superman. Superman was interesting, right? Because like we were kind of born into the lore of Superman. Like even before we saw anything, we knew of Superman. We knew the colors, we knew the cape and everything, right? So I never got really deep into it. I've seen, obviously, like you said, the Richard Donner Superman, Superman 2, Man of Steel. Anthony is a big Zack Snyder defender here with Man of Steel, but we'll get into
Man of
that.
Steel was good. I enjoyed Man of Steel.
Man of Steel, I rewatched it for this, and we'll get into it a little bit, but this was a fresh take, but I think this was a fresh take on Superman that we haven't had in some time. So let's get right into it. Overall, Adrian, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts on James Gunn's Superman?
Um, Overall, it was good. Entertaining. Um, I probably like it better than the Dan Snyder ones.
Zack
Zack Snyder. Zack
Zack
Snyder.
Snyder, yeah. Dan
Zack Snyder.
Snyder's the owner of
300, right?
no, yeah, he did 300, but Dan
No,
Yeah, yeah.
Snyder
there you go.
owns the Washington
Zack,
football
I
team.
like them better than the Zack Snyder ones.
Okay.
It was entertaining. Um, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a big comic book guy to know whether he did stuff true to storylines or not. Uh, I watched it kind of just brain off and thought it was fun.
Did do the story without giving away necessarily any parts of it? Like, were you able to like pick everything up and understand like context of characters and the plot, or did you have
Yeah,
issue
yeah.
with
So
that?
I liked Lex Luthor, Lex Luthor. He was he was I liked the character and how he was portrayed um as actually like evil, truly evil. Um I appreciated it. I think the acting was good. I think just the all around production of it was well done. It's hard to say
Mm,
it's not better than previous versions,
sure,
especially the
interesting.
1978 one. Like the plot was so much better than him just wanting prime real estate in Victorville, and he's gonna nuke the San Andreas Fault, and it's all gonna
Sure,
sink into the ocean, and
it's
Victorville's
all
gonna
about
be
real
prime
estate,
real
baby.
estate. And like,
Yeah,
come on, the
it's all about
the
real estate.
storyline's way better,
Okay,
way more
fair enough.
involved in depth. You know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Anthony, what did you think? I mean, you gave us a sneak peek, but what elaborate?
So okay, also like kind of like my dad said, like I can understand like it's a fresh slate. It's like he's trying to portray Superman as like this family character, and like that's cool. Like I like it. I kind of like it's like a family movie. It's very portrayed to like everyone. It's like for kids almost like getting people back into like who Superman is like traditionally supposed to be. And I could understand that perspective and that point of view. But I definitely felt like it was all very watered down. Like I feel like Superman's supposed to be stoic and like I feel like Superman's supposed to be like strong and like like almost content. Whereas this one, I felt like he was pushed around, like not even just physically. Like I feel like emotionally, he was like he's like yelling at his girlfriend that like wants to break up with him. Like that's not Superman. Like what? And but I mean, I can understand like if you're looking at it through like that lens of like Zack Snyder's movies, like I'd be like, yeah, that's not Superman. Like what? But I can understand like you kind of said like a fresh slate version. But like either way, like I feel like there's still so many holes that were left. Like Superman killed
Well, hey, take it easy.
Yeah,
Take
yeah.
it easy.
Spoilers,
We're not at
spoilers.
any kind of spoilers or anything yet, so
This is just
take
high
it
level.
easy
yeah,
there, all right?
right.
Bring it down a notch, okay? No, just kidding. All right. Well, Larry, what'd you think?
You know what? After seeing it again, I actually enjoyed it a little more. The first time I was like, eh, but I
Mm,
enjoyed it a little more. I think Anthony's wrong on what he's saying about Superman not being like, he's the Boy Scout. I mean, that's what Superman is. He's the Boy Scout. you know, Mister, I'm gonna try to do the right thing no matter what. He's not dark like Batman kind of thing, you know, where you know he's morally ambiguous. It's more of he should be always towing that line. So that's why Snyder's take was such a big, you know, big issue with a lot of people is
Big
because
swing.
he made him so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so much darker. It wasn't the
Yeah.
Superman that people knew.
Yeah, no, I agree on that point in the sense of like Superman is meant to be the
The
symbol
beacon of
of
hope.
beacon of hope. Exactly. I mean, that's what the symbol is on his chest, right? Is hope. So it's very more bright, optimistic than like a brooding Batman. Sorry, you were going
Yeah,
to say something else.
that's pretty much it. But yeah, I mean, like he is the beacon of hope. He's supposed to be that, like trying to just be that perfect person almost.
So
Yeah.
I want to piggyback on Anthony. Like I get where Anthony was coming from, because he was vulnerable, and I think that was the part that like maybe Anthony didn't like, where thinks he should be stoic. Like he's not supposed to have these internal mental like righteous or moral battles. You know what I mean? Like he's Superman.
But
And I think
but
that was the whole point of the movie, was trying to bring that full circle with like that is
humanity,
what being human is. Yes.
yeah, the humanity of it.
And
Yeah.
I could get that. I could get that for sure. But I feel like for me, it was like there was no like every time there was a battle, every time he got to like that. This is a spoiler. You know, just keep
Let's
the
wait for that. I know where you're
Yeah,
going. I get where you're going. Yeah.
I'll just say I too saw it for a second time and also enjoyed it half a star more than the first time. I mean, the first time you're trying to like navigate it. I mean, especially if you're into movies and specifically superhero movies, like you have such a library of movies to compare it to. And you're like, okay, this is James Gunn's first movie in control of the DCU. He's the new executive for all of the DCU movies coming out. This is really going to set the tone of what's to come, especially when there's a lot of potential superhero, you know, it's a buzzword now, superhero fatigue, right? Because we've had so many movies over the
So
past
many,
decade at this point, right? So it was
and
really
so many
important.
bad ones recently.
Right. DC hasn't, outside of the Batman, DC hasn't had a really
Been
strong
swinging and missing.
showing in the theater. Yeah. So for this new fresh slate to come out, it was going to be interesting to see what James Gunn did. And I think it's very different than Zack Snyder. I riddle me this, Anthony. Was the Zack Snyder Superman Man of Steel, is that the first Superman you saw? Was that your introduction to Superman?
I guess I would say that's like my introduction to Superman. I liked watching the cartoon ones a lot. I don't know who it's directed by, but like I like anytime I'm just
Like
Oh
like
yeah.
the older cartoon
No,
ones?
yeah, the
no.
movie.
DC's done some recent like cartoon
Oh,
movies that are darker, but they're really good. They're really good.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's like Injustice, Dawn of Justice. There's like Teen Titans versus Justice League and like all of those.
There's a
Like
Batman and Superman one. There's a few good ones.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And those are like my all-time favorite. Like I love those. So like to me, like Superman is also not just, like that witty, Boy Scout, but he's like I feel like there's like a balance of it. I can understand like Zack Snyder's too far this side, but James Gunn is way too this side. So I feel like the cartoons had that
Some
good
middle
balance.
ground for you.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right, right. Well, fair enough. Let's dive into spoilers here, so then we can discuss more freely.